I thought he was hosting. Welcome back to Full Time, everyone. That was about as cohesive as Arsenal's performance, wasn't it? Sorry, no, you were going.
Sorry, but you did say that.
It's all right.
Yeah, I had one of those Zinchenko moments.
Hey, we started with a laugh, eh? And we're here to talk about 3 points. We're here to talk about, listen, a comfortable, routine win. Don't think any of us are going to come away from it learning much about Arsenal, maybe about some of the individual players, nor is there...
I don't think it will be first on Match of the Day tonight.
Out of 2 games. Might not even be second. They might have to find some match from...
I mean, I described it on my fan cam as functional rather than fabulous or fantastic. But you know what? At the end of the day, who really cares? We got the result we wanted, which was the win. Kept a clean sheet, which is always important. And if I'm being honest, and I do try to be as honest as I can, always, as much as I respect Luton, they came and they gave it a good go. But let's be honest, Arsenal were clearly the better side and were never in any real danger, were they?
Yeah, and
Am I being...
No, you're right, and I don't... Like, I don't mean to sound really rude about Luton because
that normally means you are going to say something totally rude and disrespectful.
I'll tell you why I'm saying this, because I said this in my fan account as well. I really want to get this caveat in that I've been really impressed with them in the Premier League. They're giving it a much, much better go than Burnley and Sheffield United. I can hear myself back, so I'm just going to take it off for a sec. I've found... These headphones are annoying me. I think they've been a breath of fresh air. I think they're a real go. I think what they're doing as a club is brilliant. And I've got so much time and respect for them. It felt a little to me like Arsenal played the game like they didn't rate them a little bit. Do you know what I mean? Because the first half was quite expansive, a little reckless in terms of some of the openings, how open the game was. But ultimately we were in control. And the second half, we basically went, you have all the ball. And yeah, you're going to have some openings, but we'll be fine. We'll deal with it.
You know what?
I thought it was a bit, that's why I tried the 45. I thought it was a bit dangerous. I was a bit like, get on the ball a little bit more here, Arsenal. At least through a counter-attack. But it was comfortable. Players got rested. Minutes were distributed very lovelyly, if that makes sense. And I think Arteta will be happy with the minutes he gave certain players. I think he would have wanted a little bit more on the ball control, but listen, job done.
No, you know what? I can't really disagree with too much of that. I mean, like I said, Luton. I mean, I used to live in Luton many years ago, and I have a bit of a soft spot for Luton. I got family and friends that still live in the town, and some of those friends are Luton Town fans. So I always look out for their results. So I'm going to declare an interest there, that I do have a lot of time for Luton. It's a great story.
It's a great story.
Got into the Premier League and they're still slugging it out. They're still trying to maintain their Premier League status. Whether they will remain in the Premier League is anyone's guess. They're up against it. But like you said, a lot of fans from other teams do respect and do like Luton for what they're trying to do. And today, and I said this when we did our preview show, that the teams that Luton put out, the way they play, is kind of representative or a reflection of the town. Certainly when I lived there, it's quite a tough, gritty town. You know what I mean? They're quite tough there, and they won't swallow it. They'll give it a good go, and they did that today. However, you could see straight away there's levels. You know what I mean? Like Arsenal were clearly the better side, and I do think a little bit of what you say is true. Well, more than a little bit. I think Arsenal, once they got the 2 goals especially, they kind of operated in that comfort zone where they thought, you know what, we're going to win this game. Let's not be too reckless, but at the same time, we can operate within third gear and still win without going to levels 3, 4 and 5. You know what I mean? That's how it felt to me.
It felt like chalking something off the to-do list. Like, have you ever...
well, maybe not quite as easy as that.
It just the whole kind of, okay, how little we attacked the second half. Have you ever, like, been to... I'm being so disrespectful now to Luton. I'm not trying to. I'm talking about the intensity of the game. And the way Arsenal were so happy to not have possession in the second half. You ever like been to an event or a party they don't really want to go to, but you think, I'll show my face for an hour, so at least I can say I've been. But then, do you know what? I've got to work early the next morning. If my friends are watching this, you'll have heard me use that line. No, I love you all. But like, it felt just a little bit like, cool, got the 2 goals in the first half. We had to be on it. We had to play some good football because Luton, I think, weren't creating a lot of great chances. I will say that. Luton were defending well enough to... We couldn't just walk through them. We had to show a little bit of invention with the Smith Rowe underlap, Havertz with the quick 1-2 with Ødegaard before he gets a strike at goal. But at that point, the second half was like, let's just, and for anyone who sits there thinking I'm some arrogant Arsenal fan, thinking, yeah, it was easy. I wasn't feeling that through the 90. Like I was sat there going, can we up the tempo because they could hurt us? And they had some openings, Luton. They played some football, and there were moments where I thought, if they just show a little bit more quality, and we know that they've got an injury hit squad, they're depleted, they're missing some big players as well, we must mention that. It just felt like maybe on another day they could have hurt us a little bit more, but Arsenal were ultimately comfortable and come through with Rice only playing 30 minutes, with Jorginho being rested, Partey getting an hour under his belt, which he needed, Zinchenko getting some minutes, Tomiyasu getting some minutes, Martinelli getting some minutes, Eddie getting some minutes, the centre-back partnership still at their best. I think of everyone that
seems to be the rock on which
they were nearest their
par,
wasn't it?
Built. Yeah.
They Saliba and Gabriel.
Yeah. They looked impenetrable today, as they've done for most of the season. I mean, listen, you've gone from keeping Haaland and De Bruyne quiet, then you look at Luton. No disrespect, you've got Carlton Morris and Ross Barkley. Although Ross Barkley,
did some nice stuff.
He had some nice touches there. He looks good player, man. Yeah, I mean, when he gets a ball, you can see straight away he stands out from the rest of the Luton players. No disrespect, but he does. But yeah, for me, it was fairly comfortable. But I do give Luton that respect. I mean, they kept us out in the second half, and their possession level went up from about 20% to late 40s. Yeah, so they did give it a go, but ultimately Arsenal were just too good.
We came back from the international break last year for the run-in, and we started those 2 games off the international break. We had a win and a draw, and they were a 4-1 win against Palace at home and then a 2-2 draw at Liverpool. We've also started this time with a win and a draw, but they're so different in one of them's 2 clean sheets, the other one was 3 goals conceded across 2 games. Liverpool, we were 2-0 up and we kind of threw it away. This time at the Etihad, we actually stood firm, claimed a point that I think we would be happier with on reflection than City. You then got, the 4-1 win against Palace last season, playing brilliant football. This time, it was about actually reserving some energy, keeping just a general control of the affair and it not getting... becoming a basketball match and getting too crazy, which in the first half at times I thought it could be. So we're going to get all your thoughts now, everyone. We sort of discussed it a little bit loosely there. The reality is there's not that many talking points, so come drive the conversation.
It wasn't the greatest of games.
It was getting a job done. It really was.
Like I said, it was functional rather
functional. I think that's a great way to put it. It was functional. So let's get your calls in. Michael's joining us first. Michael, how you doing?
Great, guys. How are you doing?
I'm all right, man. I reckon you're going to have to dig deep in your vocabulary to find words to describe that game.
I want to say something. I want to say something about Ødegaard, and then I've got a poem about Havertz. Okay,
love it. Go for it.
I mean, I think that Ødegaard buys a lot of space from the fact that opposing teams, when they look at video of him before the game, understand that there's this branching multiverse of available passes that only Ødegaard is capable of executing. That like a good attacking midfielder has 2 or 3 options, but Ødegaard has 6 or 7. And it's not just the one pass, it's like the possibility of the give and go like he had on his goal with Havertz. And not only does that spread the defense out, it gives Ødegaard more space to be able to make that pass effectively. And the other thing is that as much as we have complained in the past about needing a finisher, Ødegaard is that guy. And sometimes I almost wonder if Arteta should experiment with swapping Ødegaard with either Jesus or Havertz and see what Ødegaard looks like as a false 9. because he finishes so deadly that in some ways, like, I wouldn't want to give him up as the guy pulling the strings in the midfield, but he wouldn't be bad as a false nine, like, considering how well he finishes, like in the game today.
I actually don't. I'm with you. I don't think it'd be a terrible false nine at all. The whole point of a false nine is that they're really an attacking midfielder / number 10 who's leading the press, as we know he does really well, and he can drop in and link up play. So I've heard crazier things. He's tried it with Smith Rowe. Why not try it with Odegaard? But, you know, ultimately his ability to run things from midfield, to pop up in different areas, his work rate to press in the 4-4-2 and get up, to then drop back and help as well. And it wasn't just his work rate. I thought Smith Rowe today, the term I'd use is he understood the assignment, didn't he? He was like, I know that there's a work level and work ethic that this team have been playing to, and I've got to get to that.
Right.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Interesting look there on Odegaard. I'll have to give that some thought. But you know what? Yeah, I think on the face of it, that's probably not a bad idea. What I would say, talking about false nines, is, and I hope I don't come across as too critical, but there's 2 games on the row now that for me Havertz has laid an egg. He didn't really do much against City, which is understandable, the City game, because it's City, away from home. We were down to 20% possession in that game. So he didn't have a lot to work with. But today, I've got to say, I was a little bit disappointed with Havertz. And then he capped it off by getting booked for diving against Luton. I mean, come on, bro. You know what I mean? Like, come on now. You should. And he's done that a few times. I've called him out for that on a few occasions this season. Like, he's been through and you're thinking, yeah, go on, have a shot, do something. And then he waits for the tackle and then he drops to the floor. And I'm always a little bit disappointed with that, because what I read into that is that if you were confident, you would have gone on and tried to do something. And today he got booked for diving against Luton, and I just thought it was a little bit disappointing. But can't criticise.
Laurie,
I don't over-criticise.
Come on, you're preempting my poem. I have a whole poem about
really?
Havertz and simulation. Come on.
Right. Okay. Yeah,
but I got to disagree with you. Like, he didn't play great, but he was an integral part of the first goal. Right. You know, he had an understanding that Odegaard was moving off the pass and squared it to him well. And he gets credit for that as far as I'm concerned.
Okay.
With Havertz.
It wasn't... Sorry about that.
No, sorry.
I wouldn't say he was poor. It's just that I was expecting him to be a bit more dominant today, to show for the ball, to try and make things happen. Today, the Havertz of today, dare I say it, was what we were seeing before Dubai. You know what I mean? When people were really calling him out.
I would say with Havertz, I've rarely had a problem with his ideas. And it's more the execution sometimes. So he got the execution of that assist to Odegaard. Well, I mean, that was a 1-2. He could have set himself up for a shot or whatever, but he recognised, quickly give it back to Odegaard, is in a great place, wait a pass. People look at that and go, it's a really simple pass. I mean, it is for professional football, for sure, but still get the weight right, you still got to get the angle right, so Odegaard just put his foot through it, and he did brilliantly. So Havertz has moments where he just, he tries to get his head on things, he tries to link up play. I think the ideas are all right. Lacks execution sometimes. In this game, he lacked execution. Against City, I agree, he wasn't really at it, but his work rate was unbelievable. And I reckon the staff and Mikel Arteta would say to us, if you look at the positions he took up and where he stood on the pitch, that was exactly what we wanted from him tactically off the ball. And then you're saying, well, then he did his job. So it's a weird one, Havertz. Today on the ball, he wasn't at his best, but happy with his general efforts he's giving as a striker, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I don't want to be overcritical. He has been playing really well. In fact, I advocated for him to start today when people were saying that maybe against Luton, Jesus should get the nod. And I'll say, no, Havertz has been playing well enough to retain his place. But today wasn't his best day. But hey, man, I'm sure he'll figure.
Let's hear the poem.
Well, I mean, of course Havertz is weird. Havertz is a walking contradiction. I think of Havertz, I think of elegant clumsiness. That he understands what to do in the position, but he moves as though he's a baby colt just finding his legs, or like he's a child or someone recovering from a stroke that has to learn how to walk and run, and therefore every movement is much more conscious than someone who's actually moving fluidly. And Laurie, you're right about being booked for simulation. And he does need to cut that out because he's going to get a reputation the way that Xhaka had a couple of seasons ago, where refs are going to book him even where he's not diving. But I think that when he seems to dive, it comes more from the fact that in his elegant clumsiness, he knows the defender is about to make contact, and he's wondering how to perform it in a way that seems the most obvious. And if only he would run through the foul in an honest way, he might get awarded with a free kick instead of getting booked. But ultimately, I realized that everything that Havertz does is a kind of simulation. Like, he's desperately trying to fake being able to move and pass and run. And in some ways, that makes him more dangerous because defenders can't mimic his action as they mark him. That they have to become as clumsy as he is in order to match his movements. And I think that's what makes him dangerous as a kind of newly formed Frankenstein, like Emma Stone in Poor Things. He's just learning to move, and so the defenders have to relearn how to move to match him. He's certainly
unpredictable. Yeah. Go on, take it away.
Right. Do we even sweat in this business to win this easy match played for a crown? When angels fight, weak men must fall. See you Saturday. Come on, you Gunners.
Nice one.
See you Saturday, mate. See you Saturday. Yeah. Always a pleasure. Let's get Deeney in.
Couple of interesting takes by Michael there.
Yeah, I did think Havertz was someone we'd speak about today, but that's where it went, and fair enough. Look, Deeney, let's talk about Smith Rowe, because come on, he came in and he... okay, I think sometimes the Smith Rowe thing's forced. Good player, like him, talented. I think he's a different profile as well to what we have a little bit. I thought against Forest, people were saying, really good from Smith Rowe, and I was like, really? What did he do? I thought he was good tonight. I really did. I thought mainly in terms of work ethic, but also providing a really good attacking option, underlaps, all sorts. I liked him.
Well, first of all, big up the James and big up Laurie. Every time, big up everyone and shout out everyone. Good. But yeah,
I'm liking that sweater, by the way, man. I'm liking that sweater.
Say that again?
I'm liking that jumper, the sweater.
I appreciate it, man. I did will end up with some fashion here and there, you know. But no, with ESR, I feel like with ESR, obviously we're going to big him up a little more because he's just a Haaland boy. We love him. We got the song and everything else. And I feel like that is someone that, even though that is someone whose future is up in the air towards the summer, he's someone that can still maybe strike a chord towards the end of the season because we know what he can do. And yeah, absolutely very happy for him tonight because without him in the side, we don't really get those 2 goals. He helped set up both of them. Actually, no. Let me correct that. Who gets the assist for Odegaard? It's Havertz, right?
Yeah.
I feel like Smith Rowe does play a part in the goals and obviously for the own goal as well. So yeah, absolutely. Very happy for Smith Rowe tonight. Wanted more from Nelson in terms of if we're talking about subs and stuff. Wanted more from Nelson. Absolutely, that's someone I've always wanted to just for him to do his best because there was a time where he was the best of the lot and now he's almost like the bottom of the list in terms of Haaland and the talents that are coming out of Haaland. So in terms of Nelson, not really happy. Zinchenko, he dibbled and dabbled, but we saw in spurts of what we can miss from him, breaking up that low block, coming into midfield. He still has his moments. That moment between him and Gabriel, where it's like someone run for the ball, one of you run for the ball. Yeah. You know what I mean? It just happens. Kai, it was almost like the Kai pre 2024, almost a little bit. Even
I made that exact point myself, didn't I, James? Yeah. I said exactly that. That was pre-Dubai Havertz tonight. Yeah. Not making an impression on the game, diving, getting booked. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Like even that point where it looked like the ball just bounced off his head and he fell over at the same time. That was cool. It was funny. It's like, no way this is happening.
I can laugh now, but that was poor, wasn't it? Oh,
and that sometimes that's what you just need in a boring, dull game. It's just like something just comical to have. Because at the end of the day, I describe that game as simple but effective. At the end of the day, simple performance. We got our job done. All we wanted was the 3 points because when we went to Anfield away, drew 1-1. We thought it was a good performance, but then we lost the corresponding games. We won this Luton game. We need to go to Brighton on Saturday and win and keep this form going now because business end. If there was a time that we could rotate, it was this Luton game, because the games for the rest of this season is looking tight.
Yeah, you're right. I mean,
yeah.
A few weeks back when we were pumping teams, you know what I mean? Maybe as a fan base, we were getting a little bit spoiled. So we're thinking that we go to City, get a very creditable draw there. We're thinking Luton at home, yeah, it's supposed to smoke them. But as I was saying when we did the preview for this game, it doesn't always work that way. I was always confident we would win, but I did also say that Luton would come and give off themselves, put an effort in, put a shift in, and they did that. And in the second half, when I was expecting that Arsenal would up it and go on and get 3, 4, maybe even 5, to be fair to Luton, man, they held it together. And in fact, their possession stats went from like lower 20s to upper 40s. And they actually had 5 shots on goal, which is more than some teams that have come to the Emirates. So.
But that's been Luton basically like for most of the season, especially against the top sides anyway. Even though they practically lost every game against the top sides in the top 6, it's not been by big margins. So regardless of who they play, they're always going to be resolute. But then again, at the same time, we weren't at our best today. We were a bit sloppy today. We were a bit off it today. And at the same time, I feel like it's a maturity coming through now. Not having to go and in these games where we could have got 3 or 4 potentially if we stepped up another gear. But at the same time, it's just, let's get the 3 points, get it on the board. It's over to Liverpool tomorrow. Now they have to go, or they basically have to go and win. Because if we leave today with anything less than a point, it just looks bad on the board. It looks bad on the board. So it was just about getting fringe players minutes, getting some injured players come up from injury minutes, getting the 3 points on the board and going to Brighton now, because I expect a normal team against Brighton away from home, because it's going to be tough.
Final question from me, Dini. The chat were on me during the watch along because I expressed a bit of concern at the fact that we just weren't getting on the ball in that second half. Now, I also said what's that? Because we're
sorry, James, you broke up for a second.
Oh yeah, we're losing you. Can you hear me now?
Sorry. Yeah. Broke up on my end, sorry.
Okay, cool.
I can hear you.
So I was saying that the comment section weren't too happy with me during the watch along because I expressed a bit of concern. They weren't just getting on the ball, stringing some passes, getting a little bit more control of the second half. I also said that if we come through at 2-0 and it's job done, then it's perfect, right? Because you've not exerted energy. But I feel like you don't want to tempt fate in football. The other thing I talked about in my fan cam there a little bit is the power of momentum. Now, I'll tell you what is momentum. 9 wins and a draw in your last 10. That's momentum, that's belief, and there's so much to take from that. But you can also flip it. You can also say Brentford found a way. We weren't brilliant, but found a way. Porto certainly weren't brilliant, but found a way. Penalties it took. City was a draw. We had to defend, play a very different game. And tonight, again, not at our best, but got it done. We're now going back 5 games to the last time Arsenal really convinced us. Now, maybe that's not what title races and title wins are based off. But is that a thought in your mind? Even just a small one?
In terms of, at the end of the day, this is what champions do. At the end of the day, this is what champions do. And we just have to find wins, and we have to find it, because this is the type of form that we've been asking for in the last couple of years. Can we go on a run of 5 games, 7 games, 9 games in a row where we're winning and not conceding goals and looking imperious at the same time? This is what we're doing now. So my main thing is that hopefully we can just continue it. Will we go unbeaten for the rest of the season, winning games and everything else? Who knows? But at the end of the day, it's about next game now, Saturday. Can we continue it again and going forward? And I believe we can do it. I believe we can do it. And I believe in this team, absolutely. But it's about them showing us. They have to show us at the same time. So, yeah.
Dini, always a pleasure, mate.
Big up.
Every time. Love, Laurie, James, take care. Everyone in the chat, take care.
In a bit. Man. Got a super chat from Miles. He has got a question for you. Would you rather beat Spurs or lose to Spurs if it meant City and Liverpool also lose to them? No, I'm not. No.
Yeah,
I'm not taking.
Yeah, because if you'd have said lose to Spurs and win the title, I might be tempted. But if he's not giving us a better option.
If it's lose to Spurs and win the title, yeah, let them have their day. We'll have our summer.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's just so they lose. Well, then we're all back to square one.
Exactly,
because if we win,
that doesn't sound like a good deal for me.
But I think what Miles maybe is asking is if that's our hardest game left, and you can guarantee that City and Liverpool lose it as well. maybe the hope is that they drop points somewhere else, and but no, no. I wouldn't. I would.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like a good enough deal for me to take.
No. But thanks for the offer.
Yeah.
Diego's our next caller. How we doing?
Hey guys, can you see me?
We can.
Partially.
Yeah.
Partially.
Maybe you need to shift.
There we go.
A little bit more.
Other way. No, go too far. There you go.
That's it. Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
All right, thanks for having me, Laurie. Long time no see. We were on the call last year. I'm sure you can remember.
I do remember your face, man. I do remember your face.
Okay. Nice to meet you, James.
Pleasure to meet you. You must be a happy Arsenal fan. 9 wins in 10 and a draw, which means that's 28 points collected from our last 30. So you've got to think back to when we lost against Fulham and everyone was saying that could be the title done. You know, to pick up 28 in 30 since then, it's been a mightily impressive effort, hasn't it?
It has been, absolutely. I mean, I listen to your show a lot, and I keep hearing Robbie making reference to Dubai, and I think the trip, I don't know what happened in that trip, but since January, man, we've been.
Oh, shame.
Oh, you're back.
He's back.
Yeah, sorry. It's something that I haven't really witnessed in recent times. You know, this is the time of the year where we just usually capitulate and just kind of like. I think by this time last year we already like lost hope in the title race. So yeah, I'm so sorry about that.
No, carry on.
Yeah, but I'm so happy that the reverse is the case at this time in the season. You know, just having the rundown on today's game. When I was watching the preview yesterday, I was like, I hope Arteta is listening to Laurie, because you know we have that attitude of it's Luton light work. And when I saw the changes, 5 changes on my mind, I'm like, I hope these guys are going to play for the badge and they're going to really put in a shift and just knock on the manager's office and just demand to get more game times. And I was particularly impressed, with ESR. Obviously, I had mixed feelings, first half of the game. I was almost getting sleepy. But like I said, mixed feelings because, he set up the first goal, like he won the counter, and the second on goal, he kind of assisted that as well. So that was an amazing performance. And even the shot on target that he kind of missed, that was really impressive. But on the other side, I could feel like the new guys were a bit there was this dislodgement in attack. There was no complete passes. Zini was missing passes. Same with
I have a feeling he'll be back.
I got the gist of what he was trying to say, but it's unfortunate.
So, on Smith Rowe, Arteta said, I love him, Smith Rowe, as a player. It's a joy to watch him. He can help with all his skills. He's a joy to watch. He helped us a lot to win the game also today.
He certainly did.
He always speaks really glowingly of Smith Rowe, doesn't he?
He does, yeah, he does. And it's interesting because there's been some speculation in recent weeks about them Haaland boys, namely himself, Reece Nelson, Eddie Nketiah. There's a lot of speculation that come the end of the season, regardless of when we win the title or not, those guys could move on. And that is a real possibility. But obviously, in the lead up to that, we want them to feature as much as the manager sees fit to play them. So I'm really pleased for him.
Yeah.
For him to come in today, get his opportunity. Because a few eyebrows were raised, weren't it?
Yeah.
When we saw his name. Because myself and Cecil and Turkish did the preview show, and we were speculating that there could be an element of rotation. We did say that we wanted to see that. But we were going with a maximum of 3 changes. He actually made 5, and Smith Rowe was the best of those 5.
Agreed. Let's get Diego back in to finish his point. Diego, I just read a quote from Mikel Arteta where he speaks glowingly about Smith Rowe, talks about how much he loves him. Do you feel like there's a bond between them? Because when Arteta nearly reportedly lost his job, he brought Smith Rowe into the team. He gave him his first run as an Arsenal player. Not his debut, but his first run as an Arsenal player. We win 3-1. He was great. And he started playing really well. And then Arteta stood by him. Not only called him in that moment, but stood by him during the injuries. Smith Rowe got his big chance through Arteta. I know Emery gave him his first debut. But I feel like both really want this to work. And it would just be great if they do, because I think our midfield needs a profile like Smith Rowe in the squad.
When you say a profile like Smith Rowe, are you referring to him as an 8 or as a 10? Where do you see him fitting in this?
I'm going to be even more annoying. I'm talking as a 10 advanced state, basically as a creative player, but someone who's a bit more robust, a bit more of a runner. A 10 in the way an Aaron Ramsey could play as a 10. Jack Wilshere had a little bit of this in him as well. Like, Ødegaard and Vieira are the kind of 10s and creators that I think really thrive via their elegance, their kind of cuteness in possession, the 1-2s, the vision. Now, I'm not saying Smith Rowe can't play the 1-2s combo. He's a great combo player. But he's also got the ability to do exactly what he did for that second goal, which is drive into that half space. You know, drive into that space and carry us towards goal and be a bit more of an attacking midfielder than an advanced playmaker. Do you get what I'm saying, or am I waffling and over?
No, I completely follow 100%. You know, but my thinking is a bit different from yours. The way I watch the game and the way I would prefer we set up is that we need a number 8 who can do something similar to what Rice and Xhaka was doing last year. Someone that can run back to front and create and, you know, move to the side and do all that good stuff. And I just don't see Smith Rowe as someone that has that strength, that temerity, you know, to do that in over 30 games in a season. I feel like he's somewhat someone that you would want to play as a number 10 and just as a playmaker, someone that will substitute another guy when he's not fully in the game, or maybe when you want him rested. I don't see him as someone that has that force. You also need a number 8 to also score goals. Right now, he's not as sharp as he was last year. Was it last year? Last 2 years and last year, right? So I would really, really appreciate if we go to the market this time. And also, you can see, I dare say that if Saka was on the pitch today, would have scored more goals. You know, it's just something about Nelson. I feel like maybe because
it didn't work for Nelson, did it?
It didn't work for him. And that position, playing him on the right wing forward, I don't think that's his best position, if you ask me, because obviously when someone is really not good at cutting and shooting, it limits you to just crossing or shooting when the ball is on your right foot. So that alone signals a need for a backup for Saka and a confirmed number 9. That way we have multiple options to, even if we choose to rotate, without having to drop much more in levels.
Yeah, mate, it's been a pleasure chatting to you, Diego. Thank you for joining us.
I appreciate it, and I'm so sorry about the network situation. But
we have our problems all the time. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, thanks, bro. Thanks for the call.
You guys.
Appreciate the chat.
Thank you.
Who's joining us next? Is it Ahmed? Ahmed, how you doing?
Oh yes, how you guys doing? Wait a minute, I'm just think this way.
Yeah.
Yes, okay, that's good. Yeah, how you guys doing?
Yeah, good.
Well, I'm good. We're top of the league. No, is that right? We're top. Obviously, Liverpool have to play Sheffield United tomorrow. Imagine
City won today as well. That was quite an impressive.
Yeah, but did you see Emery's 11? And I'm not saying he might have had injuries and stuff, but it wasn't the best of 11s.
Yeah,
Also,
there was one thing. I wanted Diaby at Arsenal, and I don't know, he doesn't look great.
Who, Diaby?
Yeah.
He started brilliantly, and I know he's been out the team. Leon Bailey's played a bit more, but anyway, on this game, let me ask you about another player we haven't talked about yet. Then Thomas Partey, how did he do?
Yeah, I feel. I don't think he was that great, but I think he was still I feel like he's still coming back from the injury. I think he's definitely still coming back from injury. I think Partey is the best player from since we signed him. I think he was the best player at Arsenal. I definitely would say so.
Really?
Yes, I would definitely say so. I think even last year, it wasn't. I believe like when Partey wasn't playing, I felt that we're gonna lose the game that he wasn't playing at, and I feel he's definitely, if not the best, he definitely is one of the most important players. And even right now, I think maybe this season is a bit different, but I would say that he is somewhat better than Rice. Yeah.
Interesting. I'm not sure too many people would agree with you on that, but hey, it's an interesting point of view nevertheless.
What Partey has, I keep saying it, is this like ability to open the pitch up, because he's very good at demanding the ball in a tight space. Players around him trust him, and then with one touch, he's taken 2-3 players out of the game, and it opens a whole world. As I think Rice attempts it, I think Rice's passing through the lines is better than we think. But Rice is much more protect the ball first. With Partey almost plays like he's not protecting the ball. He's playing like the ball's going to come with me the way I want, if that makes sense.
I think he's a high risk, high reward kind of player. I definitely believe that.
But because he's so good, he pulls off a lot of it. I thought Partey today certainly showed glimpses. And there were moments, I think the first 20, 25 minutes of the first half, I did think Partey's running it. And then I think he may be either physically or mentally fatigued because suddenly he wasn't on the ball and doing everything as much. Everything's just sort of seemed to sort of be ticking. Maybe the job was done by the time we got the first goal. They thought, okay, cool, we can ease a bit. Right to take him off, I think, to play just over an hour, whatever he did was probably the right thing. But we're blessed with options. I mean, I always saw Partey as still our best number 6 for this season, and Rice was going to do what Granit Xhaka does. Do you see that at all?
I think I'm looking forward to seeing them two play together. I think one of the problem that I had with this season that I never really saw them two playing together and like Odegaard on the other side. I think we definitely would have been. I think the game that we lost against Newcastle, Aston Villa, I don't think if Partey was playing, I don't think we would lose those games. I definitely don't think so. I think we always had a weak link in the midfield, and this, I think this is the praise for how good Rice was. Even though like we were missing a link, this guy was like literally doing everything, and I truly believe like he's really good. Like Rice was, I think Rice should be the signing of the season, definitely. And but I think the problem that I have with this game that if you look at the games that we're gonna have after Luton, I think they were definitely the weakest team that we're gonna face until the end of the season. And the players that were playing today, Nelson, Smith Rowe, I don't know if I would like bring them like as a sub or like it's like even Zinchenko. I don't know, Zinchenko against Rodrigo the Bernabeu. Yeah, I don't know how to, yeah.
Well, Zinchenko got some minutes. I think he showed his quality at times. At other times I think you could also see he just gives the ball away in sloppy areas.
He does that. He's guilty. I've always said this about Zinchenko. Well, not always. I've said it for a while now. That the thing about Zinchenko is that for somebody that is so experienced and that has done so much in the game, won so many trophies with City, Ukraine international, Ukraine captain, he does make what I call silly errors and unforced errors, and there's lapses of concentration that you wouldn't necessarily expect from somebody of his stature in the game.
I think. Yeah, I'm just sorry. I just want to say, I think he's to be fair, I think he's overrated. I think the impact that he had on Arsenal last season, I think it was a bit overrated. I would say definitely what cost us last season was the Saliba going injured. It wasn't like Jesus or Zinchenko. I think that signing of Zinchenko was kind of overrated. And there's I think he's good on the ball. I think I would definitely play him in the midfield, but like playing him like left back, he definitely I don't know about that.
I think it will almost depend on the game, the opposition.
I got a challenge here though, man. I'm sorry. I think Zinchenko's entering the world of underrated. And I know he gives the ball away, and I know he has his moments, but people talk about him like he's some terrible defender. He's not a terrible defender. He did a lot of sweeping up today, he won his headers. He's not as good as Kivior, Tomiyasu, Timber. But then it's not his fault that these guys haven't been fit, or Kivior at one point wasn't available, or he's seen more as a centre-back than a left-back. Yeah. Zinchenko also grew up as a midfielder. I think it's very difficult when you're 18, 19, suddenly Pep Guardiola and Mikel Arteta look at you and go, we actually think you should be a left back, not a midfielder. So we all know that he's played that position to his strengths and not in the way that maybe a more natural traditional left back will. But he's got a good cross on the ball. He inverts better than anyone else in the squad does. And today, even though I wish it amounted to more cutting, free-flowing moves, I certainly felt that there were times in that first half, actually weirdly before the goal rather than after the goal, where I thought, wow, like Luton can't keep up with the football we're playing because we're just everywhere. Zinchenko, Partey, Ødegaard, Smith Rowe, everyone's floating, combining. And I think Zinni's ability to unlock our best football at times is underrated. Now, I'm not saying he gets in our best, if everyone's at their best, that he definitely starts. But I just think he's got a lot to give to this Arsenal team for me.
Yeah, I agree. And I also think it could, whether he plays or not, could depend on the opposition and the game concerned. So if it's a game like tonight, we're expected to have a lot of the ball, and so we need a bit of creativity in trying to break teams down. I would agree.
Yeah,
with James.
I think that's the thing.
He plays that inverted role better than Tomiyasu and keep your hands down. So
I think I definitely, but also like at the same time, I think I'm expecting from a left back to defend too, and I feel like even though he's very good at going on the attacking side, he's really good, but also on the defensive side, I feel like he's really missing something, and I feel like I still remember what happened last year at Anfield. I still remember that, and it feels like it happened too many times now. And you put that with the injuries, and I think it could be like a squad player, definitely a squad player. But I wouldn't and use him against mid-table sides. But I wouldn't use him at the most important part of finals, something like it. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's been a pleasure chatting to you, mate. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Goodbye, guys.
We've got Martin joining us now. Martin, how are we doing?
Hey, how are we doing, guys?
Yeah, good.
You. Oh, let's go the other way.
There you go, nailed it.
Again. I just feel that there seems to be a fair bit of negativity around the way we played this evening, and for me, that's a perfect way to pitch that game when you've got so many big games coming. I mean, when we looked at the team sheet, it was I personally I asked Arteta for changes and then thought, oh Jesus, I didn't expect that many.
Yeah,
and I started to get really, really concerned pre-game. And then to come on and have that impervious first half performance, and then the second half just to basically just nullify the performance, and then for so many Arsenal fans to be like, well, that second half wasn't quite what we come on, we could have gone on and scored 4, 5 or 6. It's like, guys, this is a title race. We did that last season. Last season we won these games 4, 5, 6, and we blew ourselves out, and with 6 games to go we were done. And I just think this is how you win a title.
You're totally you're right. I was saying, because I was one of the critics of the second half, and when I say I think where I get a little the comments always love to go, you're rattled. Where I get a little bit rattled is when I feel a bit misunderstood. I never felt that Arsenal were going to lose that game or throw it away. I felt that there was an opportunity for a bit of momentum building, and I feel you can still take your foot off the gas. You can still put your foot. You could put your foot on the handbrake. You can put your hand on the handbrake. You get what I'm trying to say. You can basically slow things down and simmer things down without letting Luton have all the ball for 45 minutes. And the reason I say that is because I was just a bit nervous that Luton don't even have to do anything special. A cross into the box and a wicked deflection is in the back of the net. A shot from 25 yards and it's in the and the chances that happening are quite low, but it could. That's the nature of football. So I was just looking at Arsenal to come through it a little bit more in what I think is quite obvious control, on the ball, knocking passes together. But you are right. It was the perfect night. And because we got through it, ultimately you go, fantastic. Didn't exert energy. Players getting the right minutes. Lots of rotation. And you feel like we can go into Brighton fresh. There's not going to be a conversation around Saka and Jesus' minutes and part of it. You're going to look at everyone and go, cool, you should all be ready for this, because actually in the week, Arteta managed your time really well.
Yeah. Okay, we're done.
Yeah. Oh, can you hear us? Oh, he's jumped out. Oh, he's gone. There we go. He must have agreed.
I mean, you're right, James. I mean, what would have been the key objectives of tonight? First and foremost is to win. Secondly, to give the guys the 5 changes he made a run out, and hopefully they get through. Third, you don't want no injuries, which
Yeah.
we certainly so far have not heard of any, so seem to be all right on that front. And then you want to keep a clean sheet. So yeah, all of those objectives were met. Now, was the performance one that we was expecting or happy with? Probably not. But, you know, at the end of the day, especially at this business end of the season, it's about winning. And that's
Speaking
what
of
we've done.
clean sheets, that's 11 now for David Raya.
Wow.
So, I mean, how are we reflecting on that signing now?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm sure even David Raya will tell you himself that tonight, you know, he didn't have to overexert himself, did he? Did he even make a save of note?
No. I mean, whether there were shots on target that
I
scrambled.
mean, I
towards
think
us.
Luton had something like 5 or 6 shots. I think one was on target, but I can't recall him making a save that, you know, you think, oh, yeah, I don't think there was any of those. So
Yeah.
he had a relatively comfortable
Yeah,
night.
agree. Who's our next caller? Yemi. How you doing, Yemi?
Top of the league.
That's what we love to see. For now.
Sorry, I don't know if I'm in frame or
No, you're
You are a little bit more. Keep
move
going
to
the same.
your right.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's correct.
To your right. Yeah, that way. Yeah, that. Keep going a bit more.
right.
Yeah, that's it.
I think it's perfect now.
Yeah,
So the
good.
thing is, I'm confident. Do you get? And James, I want you to come out with chest more often. You feel me? Yeah. Just
KG's
turn
told me that.
to
Go on, just
your
take a chip.
turn to your neighbor. Yeah, come out with your chest. Come on.
I don't
Turn to your
have
neighbor
it.
and tell your neighbor, I will be there.
Well, what at the end of the season? What do you mean? What do you want me to say?
I will
Arsenal
be
win the
there.
league?
Yes.
He's laid down the gauntlet now. You got to do it.
Okay. Do you all want to know where I genuinely stand on this? Because
Where do you stand?
at the beginning of the season, I was one of 2, I think, that in the AFTV walls, I said Arsenal are going to win the league. I said it at the beginning of the season. Then,
Yeah.
watching us halfway through the season, I went, I think City nick it. Now, I got trolled all over the internet for celebrating. I mean, if that's a celebration, then correct. I was happy that Arsenal drew at the Etihad. Why? Because I felt we need to come out that weekend ahead of them. And coming out that weekend ahead of them made me think we can actually do it this year. So trust me, I'm so nearly there. I think we're going to finish ahead of Liverpool. I've said that for a while. That's actually the team we're chasing. I think we will finish ahead of Liverpool. We've got a harder run, but I think we'll do it. But City, I just still am. I'm 1% away from saying that we will beat City to it. That's my honest. I think we're going to do something special this year. Whether it's take it to the last day, whether it's get to the Champions League final. This team, I agree with what Turkish said the other day on Forever Arsenal, is primed to win things. We will win things. That's the chest I'll give you. Mikel Arteta, and I've actually never moved from that position. I've said that Mikel Arteta will win trophies in his career for sure, and I'm very confident he'll be with Arsenal. That's as much as I can give, really.
You're being a Nigerian politician right now.
I'm
telling
being
you
quite
for a fact.
politician.
Not just a politician. You're being a Nigerian politician right now.
trust
I will
you.
tell you this for a fact. Yeah, we will win the league. If by chance we get to Wembley, we will win the Champions League. And I will come back to tell you, I was there. I will be there. I will always be there, forever and ever.
Oh, 100.
Thank you.
We'll be here. We'll be here. Like every
I'll
kick of
be here.
ball, every moment. But
I'll be here.
but I
Like,
love
I'm
that.
not. When I saw us play today in the second half, and I heard people murmuring behind me, I'm like, "Oh, we should be." I'm like, "This is successful football. Don't rush it. We're fine." Like I'm
Yeah.
getting used to this success. Do you get what I'm saying?
I get what you're
I'm
saying.
comfortable.
Yeah.
I'm confident. So, come Saturday, come next week, come Bayern, come Madrid, come City, I'm fine. I know that
love that.
Arteta will pull a Taliban. Arteta will pull a Taliban FC. We'll pull a Taliban FC, a low block Sean Dyche FC when he faces Bayern at away, and I'll be there.
Mate,
Okay.
we look forward to hearing from you more. And of course, if Arsenal win it, I know you'll be in touch before then, but if Arsenal win it, we better hear
What's
from
your
you.
name, by the way? What's your name again?
My name is Yemi. Yemi the Great.
Yemi the Great. That's it. Yeah.
Yemi,
I like your confidence. I like your confidence.
It's been a pleasure, mate. It's been a pleasure. And I think the players are feeling very much how you are. So
if the players have got the same mindset you have.
Players believe. You can see the players believe.
There's no point having a plan B. Like, how about you just say to your full chest, I want to win it. I will win it. Now, if you don't win it, that's fine. But if you want to win it, if we want to start acting like a big club, we need to start saying these things. And I don't want to sound like a pastor right now, but we need to start prophesying these things. There's no if, buts, or maybes here. There's no or arms. Do you want it? Yes, I will get it. Sefine.
I like your affirmations. Yeah,
fair play. Absolute pleasure.
Yemi the Great. It's a great call. Thank you very much.
Speak soon. And Richie's going to round it all off for us.
He's got a lot to live up to there,
Richie?
Man. Richie got. How can you follow that?
Right?
How can you follow that from Yemi the Great?
Richie, do you think we're going to win the league?
I think we are the strongest right now. Our defensive record says it. Attacking wise, I think what Mikel did was he built this team to almost like a hybrid, and I seen how Mikel has learned with this team as well. Last game, I saw how we did. I forget the narrative that we weren't trying to go for it. We went for it, but the players realized that we couldn't find our feet, and they adjusted and they fought through the game. But yeah, Shondash FC, well, you can call it whatever you like. But we can play that way now. That was not us before. We couldn't play that way before. They will come and bully us. They will come and treat us like we were, the small cousin, people don't respect, nobody takes seriously. And now we're not. We have big guys in the back, big guys in the middle, and people that are willing to give it 100. What I would say since the game against Manchester City is the word that comes to my mind is trust. I trust this team now.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I trust my team now. I trust that we are not going to crumble. We can have a bad day. We can lose a game. We can maybe not win these leagues this year, but I trust this team now. Yeah. I know they're strong. I know they'll give it 100%. And I know they're good quality players. We have, like I said, we have a hybrid. We can either play Zinchenko whenever we're superior. We can play Tomiyasu or Kiwi, or depending if we if we have to sit low and be strong and rugged and fight. So we're strong, man. We're strong. We have a very, very good chance to win this league. I trust us, and I think we can get it done.
Yeah,
absolutely. I agree. I mean, I'm with you. After the way we handled that whole occasion on Sunday, to come out of there with a point against a very good team who were up for it, who wanted to beat us badly. I mean, you saw Pep's reaction after that game. You saw the City players' reaction and the fans. They were disappointed, man. They thought they were going to win. We went up there. We more than handled ourselves, more than matched them in pretty much every department. And
Laurie, they were everybody was pissed for the fact that we didn't go and did what they wanted us to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Even the players, they remember last year Haaland just took put the ponytail up and just started swinging his hair about and just taking the piss. Like he couldn't do that this year. They're pissed. They're pissed, man. The laughing stock is not there anymore. And now they have to switch narrative and respect us. Yeah. They're not gonna like it, man. Yeah. They're not gonna like it.
Yeah,
you know what? 100. It's a great call because everything you said there is what I've said post the City game. Although it was a draw, it was like a win for me because, like I said, we was expected to get turned over, and a lot of people didn't think we'd be able to handle the occasion. We more than handled the occasion, and we showed that we can play a different type of football and come away with a result. So, yeah, it's all good, man.
Yeah, I hear it. Just quickly.
We're clicking, I'm sorry, and this is just, I know we're about to finish. We're clicking at the right moment. We have to be even happier now. I'm not mad at this game. The second half, we played 5 changes, and we played 5 players that we don't play. They never play together on a league game, because we know that Mikel doesn't trust them, and they're good, but they just don't do everything that the rest of the team does. And you can see how they sometimes look a little clumsy, a little insecure. The nerves get to them, and it's different when we have our starting 11 there, or our strongest starting there. So I'm happy Thomas is coming back. He's getting the rhythm back. We forget sometimes how good this guy is. When we get this guy in with Declan Rice, with Havertz or Jesus, Saka and Martinelli, Odegaard, and our back line, and the changes we can make, and Jurriën Timber back, brother, they need to take us seriously.
I totally agree with you. Mate, it's been an absolute pleasure. What was your name again? You did say, sorry.
Richie. We got called last time too.
Yes, we did.
I'll see you guys again.
Richie, pleasure, man. Thank you so much for calling.
Yeah, nice call.
Take it easy, guys.
See you in a bit. Bye-bye. Right, so that wraps up the show. Fantastic.
2 great calls here.
Yeah.
We had Yemi the Great, who was very effusive.
Made me believe, man.
Yeah, and then we had a slightly, how can I put it, a more reasoned approach, but still sounding a note of positivity. Absolutely. And I've got to say, that last call, he feels exactly the way that I felt after Sunday, because as soon as that game finished, I thought to myself, you know what, even though we didn't win, it was like a win.
Lloyd, that's how I felt.
The way we handled that whole occasion.
That's how I felt. People laughed at me all over the internet for it, and that's fine. Like, do what you want. Like, I know when I've seen my team win games and I've gone, that's not convincing. That is not sustainable. And then there have been times where we've drawn and lost games that I go, nah, but there's something happening. And the funny thing is, people never learn, right? Because Arsenal fans said a similar thing when we lost to Man City 2 years ago. They came to the Emirates. We played them off the park till the red card. We were 1-0 up. And it was 95th minute winner for Rodri, secured, the 3 points for City. And I said on my fan cam, something that probably could have been clipped up and mocked at the time, and it probably was. I said that might be the day we look back on as the day that Arsenal became serious again, because it's not all about what that final score says. It's what happens in that 90 minutes. What have you taken and learned about your team?
And it was the pressure of the occasion.
Yeah.
That was a massive game on Sunday. I mean, I'm going to say it again. You saw the look on Pep's face and Rodri and some of the other senior players when that game ended. It was almost like they felt like they'd lost.
I thought so too, yeah.
You know what I mean? And whereas we didn't over-celebrate, but you could see the look on the players' faces as if to say, yeah, man, we've come here and we've shown not just you lot, but the whole world that we can handle an occasion like this and get a result. And that's exactly what they did. Now, today's performance, it's a very different game. We were expected to win, and we did win. So we've got to give thanks and praises for that. Were we at our best? Absolutely not. Luton had something to do with that, because in the second half, they gave everything. But I still think, though, looking at that game, and I'm trying not to be too arrogant, or, in fact, I'm not remotely trying to be arrogant. I'm just being honest. It seemed to me, as well as Luton did in not conceding in that second half, it seemed to me that we were operating within a certain comfort zone. And that's my honest opinion of it. So, yeah.
Totally agree. Everyone, big thanks for joining. We're just going to round off with a super chat from Trey, who says Zinchenko being good in attack is a myth. He complicates simple passes consistently, and compare him to every attacking wing back, he's below par. Trey, personally disagree, but he does give the ball away. I think his defending being poor is overdone. How amazing he is on the ball is probably overdone too. The reality is there's a good solid player there who gives us something different that we don't have in the squad. Lee says, if we don't win the league, we deserve to, based on our results against our title rivals this season. Our defence and midfield is incredibly good. Yeah, we've been brilliant. Everyone, it's been a pleasure. Thank you all for joining us. Arsenal win 2-0. We go top of the table for now. Of course, Liverpool face Sheffield United tomorrow. And then we've got Brighton away on Saturday. Liverpool travel to Old Trafford. And Man City travel to Crystal Palace. So all three have some awkward, and that's putting it nicely, away trips this weekend. So the title race could get very exciting. See you in a bit.